Hello there, members of battlestations.eu. Trivia Man here. Now on to business. With the success of Operation 10 Go back in our first map pack, I decided to develop other map ideas. Some have been sitting around for a while on the site, and others are pretty new. With the success of 2 map packs, there have been talks about a 3rd map pack as a possibility. I decided that starting today I would release a series of videos that propose my existing map ideas. Starting with one that's been released recently but didn't get a lot of publicity. The map I'm proposing in this video, well, helping propose anyway, is Battle of Savo Island. It's based on the real Battle of Savo Island, which happened on, well, in August of 1942. This is the map design. I would have had it on the site already, but the thing is, for some reason I'm having problems with my scanner recently. You see, I make these maps by hand, and, well, my scanner hasn't been working properly, and, well, that's not important. Now, if we look at the map, you can see that's pretty big, but I'll simplify it. Looking at it closer, this is the primary and only Japanese fleet present. It is led by a heavy cruiser, the Chokai. It is a Takao class. Behind it are 4 more heavy cruisers. All 5 of these are Takao class. The reason being for balancing purposes, and that certain classes of heavy cruisers, well, we don't have. And behind the 5 heavy cruisers are 3 more ships. 2 are light cruisers, and they're Kuma class because, well, that's the only Japanese light cruiser class we have. And then there's a destroyer. The Unagi, as you can see here. Forgive my bad penmanship. The reason the Unagi will be a Fubuki class is because, well, in real life, you see, it was actually a Kamikaze class destroyer, which is closer in similarity to the Minakaze class destroyer, which we do have, but I decided for balancing purposes and for fairness that the Fubuki class would be better for this map. The Allied fleet, as you can see, is pretty broken up. There's a Northern fleet, which consists of 3 heavy cruisers and 2 destroyers. These are the names. Then there's a Southern fleet consisting of 2 light cruisers and 2 destroyers. Here are the names. Then there's a Western fleet consisting of 3 heavy cruisers and 2 destroyers. Here are the names. Then there are 2 picket destroyers. Now, the reason their destroyers are like that is because I did much research for this map to ensure much historical accuracy. In fact, 3 of the pictures I used are available, well, can be seen on the Battle of Savo Island thread in the Midway Editors Forum of the battlestations.eu forum. And 3 of those pictures, those 3 pictures I used as my sources, and I realized on one of them that there were 2 destroyers that were alone patrolling that night, acting as radar picket points for the American fleet. And so these are there for historical accuracy. Now you're probably thinking, this map looks unfair, because it's 8 Japanese ships against 6, 12, 16 Allied ships, outnumbered 2 to 1. Consider this, though. The primary class of ship for this map is pretty much the heavy cruiser. And if you look at it, the Japanese have 5 Takao class heavy cruisers on this map, each having 10 8-inch guns. 10 8-inch guns times 5 ships is 50 8-inch guns. As for the Allies, they have 6 heavy cruisers. However, 4 are Northampton class, each having 9 8-inch guns. 9 times 4 is 36. Then there are 2 York class heavy cruisers. 6 8-inch guns times 2 equals 12. 36 plus 12 equals 48. So, if you think about it, 50 8-inch guns versus 48, it's kind of fair at that point, having less 8-inch guns, more ships. And now back at the map, there are 2 major landmasses here. In fact, there are only 2 at all. There's the center landmass, Savo Island, which is essentially just a big circle in the center. Remember that circular island from Rendezvous in Java Sea and Steel Monsters? Well, let's use that island because it's the closest in terms of shape to Savo Island. Then, looking at the map again, there's a giant center landmass. Now the airfield, you'll notice that there are airfields in a submarine. Well, these are not important. The landmass is, but the airfields, well, I'll get into it in just a moment. If we cover these units, we have the actual map. Now, what I'm suggesting is that they try you modders, if you're watching this, you try the original at first. Forget the submarine, forget the airfields, just the fleets and the landmasses. What I'm suggesting is that you try this at first, the historically accurate version. Then, if you need to do balancing, let's say the map favors the Allies too much. Depending on how unfair it is, the modder should add 3 or 4 airfields which are located on the southern landmass here. But let's say that the map favors the Japanese too much. Well, then the Allies will get a submarine. Now remember, in this scenario, there are no airfields. Considering that there's only one destroyer for the Japanese fleet, the destroyer doesn't have much to fear when it's underwater. So, it could actually be a really effective tool in weakening the fleet. With that in mind, but once it surfaces, well, and when it's surrounded by nearly half a dozen cruisers, well, it's pretty much dead if it's too close. So, well, that's just my suggestions. The modders, if you're watching, you're free to do whatever you want. Just try to keep within as close to the concept as possible. One more note. These are not the actual fleet formations. This is a generalized location statement. The modders are free to toy around with fleet formations. However it may be, this is just a generalized idea. And just to recap, these are 3 heavy cruisers and 2 destroyers. Likewise, and these are 2 light cruisers and 2 destroyers, 1 heavy cruiser, 4 heavy cruiser, 2 light cruisers, and a destroyer. So that's, let's see, that's 16 plus 8, that's 24 ships altogether. Well, 25 if the submarine will be included. Now, as for the exact classes of everything that I've just explained, you can always rewind this video if you need a refresher, or you can check back at the post in battlestations.eu, which is appropriately labeled Battle of Savo Island. I'll let you have one last look at this map. Now, remember, these 2 destroyers are pickets, are picket destroyers like on the pictures that are on the post. Well, one of them anyway. This is to give an element of historical accuracy. If you need a refresher for anything you've just seen, feel free to rewind this video or check back at the post. This idea, in particular, took me a long time to develop because I wanted to keep as true and historically accurate as possible, while at the same time allow for fun gameplay. This map is meant to pay tribute to the 1,077 Allied sailors who died that night. As you can see, it may be unfair, but perhaps it's not. Maybe it is fair when you consider the fact that the Japanese fleet is together and the Allied fleet is spread out, meaning that the Japanese fleet could possibly take on one piece at a time, going all around. So perhaps it's unbalanced, perhaps it's not. But only time will tell if this map will ever get created. And so, this concludes this video, and I hope you like this map idea. This is Trivia Man saying goodbye for now.